And we're back. Last time we were talking about games that Square Enix has published but not made. We were talking about Tomb Raider, and Rob apparently finds it really hilarious that my opinion on Tomb Raider is I didn't dislike playing it. But here we are. Oh my!
It's a freezer crab. Doesn't taste as good.
Yeah.
I'm less hungry now.
See, okay, so here's the thing that I've actually been talking about a lot with friends of mine recently. The state of the industry is such that the way we make games has changed. The things that we understand in games today are just very, very different than things we used to put into games. Like, for example, the whole reason we're doing this, the whole reason that we're doing No Nostalgia Filter is because we have younger friends who have never experienced games like this. And when you look at games that are really resonating to an older crowd, games like Mighty No. 9 or Pillars of Eternity, Bravely Default, stuff like that. There's this whole other crowd, not all the younger crowd, they're not all young, but there's this whole other crowd that is very inexperienced with the history of games. Because I don't want to say that they're all young, because I know a lot of young people who like traditional Final Fantasies and traditional RPGs.
And I know a lot of ignorant old people.
Right. So there are a lot of people who, and we say ignorant in the actual definition
of ignorant, as in not knowing things.
Yeah, yes. Not like we don't like them, But well,
I'd like them better
if they were into old school RPGs. Yeah. But when you look at, say, a game like Pillars of Eternity or a game like Chrono Trigger, where there's all this micromanagement you have to do, and there's all this reading you have to do, and there's all these, the game is really committed. God fucking damn it. The game is...
The good news is you cleared the monsters the first time, and they won't be there when you come back.
Yeah. The game is really committed to detail. That sort of feels awkward to a lot of people who haven't played these games.
I want to stop for a minute and talk about how this was supposed to be the dungeon where the monsters were invisible. just that's not going away in my brain. Like, they set up this plot where there's these monsters, they're hidden, they're invisible, you need a magic mirror to see them, and then you walk into the door to where all the invisible monsters are, and oh, here's that mirror. Like, that, you know what? That would have been a good reason to not go to the Ice Temple right away.
Like if you had to side quest and get a magic mirror?
Yeah, like if we maybe we go into the Ice Temple, it was like, fuck, these monsters are invisible, and maybe that has like some kind of tactical effect in the battles. You can't just walk around and pretend you're playing Final Fantasy IV. And then, oh shit, we need to go get a magic mirror so we can see what the fuck we're fighting. Would have been interesting.
But instead, let's get crabs. Instead, this is what we do. This actually ties into what we were talking about quite a bit. So what I was about to say was that in newer games, we've treated newer games a lot like we've treated jobs and like quality of life technology. In that we look at anything that is not essential as something that technology can do for us. I mean, look at how Final Fantasy evolved from Final Fantasy XII to Final Fantasy XIII. And then eventually to Final Fantasy XIII-3, where there's not really even a battle system, It's just an action game at that point, It's this removal of details.
Now, I'm kind of into the idea of like a Final Fantasy game where you're not just fighting off of a menu. Right? That basic concept is something I'm into. It's why I like Tales games so much. But boy, howdy, does Tales not take out the micromanagement.
Yeah, no, Tales games have a ton of micromanagement. You have to learn how to build
until Rita hits level 50, and then it's blah, 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 tidal wave, and then the game is over.
For anybody who's played Tales of Vesperia. But no, like, that's a good point. Like, one of the first things I do when I sit down and play a Tales game with a group is I think about... I swear to God. Okay. Like, if that was a dead end.
Wait. What was that?
But this? So I walked up here, and I went over here, and I'm like, I swear to God, if this is a dead end. But no. Walk into the wall, because walls are things.
Oh, God.
Yes, I know I'm
Draw a door sprite.
So... what was I talking about? Oh yeah, one of the first things that I do when I pick up a new Tales game is Yes. I look at ways I can build the character. I kind of treat it like Diablo, you know? Like, I'm like, this character can fight on the ground, can fight on the air, can do knockdown, you know? It's kind of like Diablo builds with fighting characters, which is why I like the game. But is that a boss?
No, we've been fighting those. That's a Sphinx. It's terrifying, but it's not a boss.
I'll loop around the other side and see if we missed anything. But, the reason why I can still like Tales is because I'm not absent-mindedly pressing A, which I know is weird because that's basically what I'm doing here. But that's to facilitate...
We also spend some time in Tales games making fun of the plot.
Right. Some Tales games have, like, halfway decent plots.
Yes. And
I'm pressing buttons because I want to be sure that there wasn't a run button that I've just been ignoring up until this point. That's a gate.
Yeah, this is before the run button was invented.
But yeah, we've just...
Wow, that was dumb.
Yeah.
This is a dumb dungeon. Oh, there's a switch.
Yeah.
There's a switch in the one place that lets you get into the other place.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, we've adopted this design philosophy where all the stuff that we used to do is now handled automatically for us. It's part... Oh my God, is this really a thing?
Yes, but it turns out you wanted to do that once.
Okay, cool. So we've kind of just keyed everything that we do to spectacle at this point. You know, all our games are spectacle. I can't carry any more arrows.
Stop giving me arrows. Oh my God! How many arrows do you think we're fucking using?
Not that many, apparently. I sure would like some bombs.
I also like how there's like 5 fights lined up there, and you literally only have to do one.
Yeah. So, I mean,
they give you a lot of control over how much you're going to level in this game, which I kind of like, because while I was too stupid to know it when I actually played this game, I like being underleveled. Oh, you should equip that.
I don't think you can equip things. See, like, it auto-equips.
Right, because people are stupid. Oh, yeah, you want to go out that door, you just open. Alright. I think you want to go down the middle there.
That's where I came in from.
No. The very middle.
Here?
No. South of that, there's like a hole in the wall that we wouldn't even know about if it wasn't a top-down view. That just goes down and there's a further pit.
What?
Let's see next time you fall down.
I'm gonna not fall down just to spite you. Also to make, what's that called? Progress.
That's what I'm...
So yeah, to actually get to my point, which is what I was saying before. Part of the reason why we haven't gotten games like Chrono Trigger or games like Final Fantasy VI, you know, aside from Bravely Default, is because everything that we are doing is geared towards spectacle so that it appeals to the largest demographic. Fatal. I don't have life.
Maybe this is what a refresher does. Alright, worth a shot.
And now I'm confused. And now I need to break that myself. Yep. And I'm dead.
Don't give up. Don't, never give up. Never give up. Never surrender.
Never surrender. I used a refresher on her because my game was on there. Fun times. I swear to God, I'm gonna finish this point. This whole episode, Koshi.
Next time on.
What we've learned is that our style of game design today is not the progression of what we were doing in yesteryear, but rather an entirely different thing. Like there is a time.
You just unironically used the word yesteryear. I just want to point
I am an old person, but it's an entirely different thing. Like it is entirely valid to have a game that does a lot for you, and it's entirely valid to have a game that has a lot of like micromanagement in it. Different people like those different things, but a lot of how like we haven't seen a lot of 2D run and gun games because everyone thought that the natural progression from 2D run and gun games is like the third person or the first person shooter. And now things like Mighty Number 9 are coming out, and people are like, "Oh yeah, Mega Man. We loved Mega Man," you know.
And it's a really different experience, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. And so something like Mystic Quest, something like Final Fantasy IV is just very different from something like Final Fantasy 15.
I want to say that don't jump down that hole yet. It leads to the boss. That's what I was saying with the thing in the middle of the hole. You need to fall down there. That's where you need to fall down.
Gotcha.
So get the stuff up here first, because we're not going to be able to come back.
Right.
Anyway.
Anyway, that was my point. Next time on No Nostalgia Filter, join us when we're going to fight the boss.
Yeah, we'll fuck around and get some treasure, and then we'll see you again when we're falling down a hole.
Yeah, which we kind of did with that whole discussion.
Yes,
that whole discussion. You can't jump that. You can't jump that.
On the other side, you need arrows now, but not that many arrows. See you next time.